Ladies and gents, we have episode number 4, I think it is, of the podcast between the great man Gacha Smack and myself. In this one, we got no guests. We just wanted to have a sit down, a bit of a chat, catch up about our thoughts on Wuthering Waves. So we go through a variety of topics. I'll leave some timestamps in the description if you want to bounce around. And as always, hope you enjoy.
How are you doing with Wuthering Waves?
Yeah, it's it's one of those ones. I was like almost like convincing myself I wasn't going to play the game at launch because these first 2 days, like, and it's always the same with a game where it's super intensive. Like you've really got to grind, but with these action games, you can't, like, it's not like an idle game or a turn-based game where I can be out doing stuff on my phone and just doing it on the side. It's like, no, you've got to be sitting there. And like the first day I played it, I couldn't stream because I had VPN issues. So I was just playing it by myself in my room for like probably 12 hours on the first day. And I missed gym and I'm just like, this is not healthy. It reminded me of when I played Tower of Fantasy back in the day where I spent like a week just in my room and I didn't leave. I didn't eat properly. I didn't exercise. And I'm like, I can't do this, but luckily I hit level 30 last night and now it's like, there's not as much grind. Like the questing's done. Now it's just like, I can do extra grind if I want to get echoes, which I think is a really good system. But besides that, it's like, it's standard gacha game. Burn your stamina. Do the stuff.
Yeah. And just to the audience listening, I think what Volk's hinting at here is like, from the adult perspective, we're not teenagers, so we don't have all the time in the world. Playing a game for 12 hours straight is like, that cuts into your schedule, your typical routine. It's a pain in the ass. So I had the same concern as him. In fact, I literally told Volkin before we even started, I said, Volk, I got an hour tops on this podcast because I got a lot of shit to get done. And like 50% of that lot of shit is trying to grind out Wuthering Waves to build content off of it. But there's the story, there's everything he just mentioned. And I'm sitting here wondering to myself, am I going to be able to like manage this game and Honkai Star Rail while doing all this other stuff? Because this is ridiculous. So I think it was important, because Volk's a little bit ahead of me, that he mentioned at 30, now you have your typical gacha experience. That's so huge for me as well. Because as adults gaming, we ain't got time to be playing a game 12 hours a day, bro.
Yeah.
And Volk, I didn't work out Monday. I didn't work out Tuesday. I missed some clients. Like I basically just told my clients, I said, you know what? I'm clearing the schedule for this week because I got a beta going on as well as my other shit. I'll see you guys next week. So that shit is funny when you mention that, because I'm like, I resonate with that so much, bro.
Yeah, it's one of those ones like, and by the same token, you don't have to do that. It's just like, I'm always the same. Like I want to get as far as I can in a game as soon as possible.
Content creator, bro.
Yeah, and you want to do that grind. So and then I really wanted to get to 30 and test co-op as well. So I tested a bunch of co-op last night with Grimro, which was fun because we're both on Japanese server, so we could co-op together.
Wow.
So yeah,
nice.
Like,
How was that, man?
It was better than I expected. It was
because I'll be Volk. I didn't even know there was co-op. I dead ass did not know.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a whole video on it. Also, like you've already uploaded a video on it, on the game.
I've uploaded one just now before we went live, and then I uploaded the one where I was telling you about our biggest incentive to play the game, the exploration for the shiny Pokemon and shit.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, I'll leave links to that in the description. I'm playing it over on my other channel, so I can just pump out random videos on just like whatever I find. So I'm going to do the co-op one, but the co-op is... like I said, it's just better than I thought. The ping was actually good because we're both in Australia playing on VPN to the Japanese server. And besides a couple times where like characters lag out and they just let us, basically, they just sat there still and let us kill them. Which is a good bug. Honestly, the ping was pretty good. Like the response was good. And
you're the worst case scenario, so that's important coming from you.
Yeah, and then the actual like there was one bug where... So whoever was hosting the co-op could bring 2 characters and the other person got 1 character, but my characters couldn't heal Grim and Grim couldn't heal me. So it was like, that was like, that must be a bug because you can't, but holy shit, it makes echo farming so much quicker. If I've cleared it, like, so there's this one Havoc echo, which is the 3 cost echo. People probably won't know what it means.
Hold up. Slow down real quick, Volk. What makes echo farming quicker? I missed that point. Are you saying y'all can both farm echoes at the same time and collect them and it goes to the...
Yeah. So you go into each other's world. And whoever's the host world, like, so you can kill every echo once per day.
In the exploration.
In the world. But if I've killed all mine today, I can jump into Grimm's world and kill his again. And if you're in a group together, and we even tested it, like you go opposite sides of the map, and we kill them, and then I come over there. We each have independent echo drop chances, but you can both get the echoes. So he can go kill one side.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
That's important.
So you can still get it. So then you can, and like, it doesn't even matter proximity. Like I was standing on one side. I said, Grim, go to the opposite side of the map, kill that boss. And like when he goes to the boss, it has the warning about the boss on the screen. He kills it. Then I teleport over. I get myself an echo.
Wait, and then y'all are in multiplayer and the boss he doesn't have scaling HP?
Well, we're both at the same level. So you unlock co-op at 30. So we're both level 30. So it's at the same world level. But like he's got the HP of a boss, as a one-player boss. So you actually kill it twice as quick.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I was saying, so now, because if he had scaling HP, y'all wouldn't be able to split up because it'd probably take ridiculously long time to kill the boss. But you're saying it's still the one player boss HP scaling.
Yeah.
Which means you guys can hit different bosses and get an efficient experience out of the grind.
Yeah. So there's two, and like the thing with this is it's super good in like the first week of play, but you're going to fill out your gear or your echoes so quick with good main stat ones because of how quick you can farm. Like I'm swimming in top rarity echoes. We'll talk about a bit more about that system a bit later, but it's super cool because one, you can farm more echoes. So that there's different character, different monsters that you get as echoes. And this is what I'm trying to farm. And if there's not many of it, I can just farm it in my world, go farm it in someone else's world, go farm it in someone else's world. And that way I can keep farming for that one to get the right main stat that I want.
Right. Volk, you're blowing my goddamn mind right now because you're actually showing a good incentive to go to play with others.
Yeah.
That was something which you didn't play Genshin. That was something where they failed to do in Genshin. Like people just try to come in your world and steal your resources, which by the way, weren't shareable. So if they took your resources for an ascension material for a character, you were fucked. So you'd have to just be like, yeah, come in, you can take them. But like this game is going above and beyond with that because now you can build your characters since echoes are tied to the building.
Yeah.
And you can clear the map quicker. Dude, that's massive, man. I didn't know that.
And because the thing is, like, because you have, eventually you'll get this waypoint thing. So you can place 5 waypoints per day around the map.
Yeah.
So some of the bosses that take a little bit of running, we just set waypoints at the bosses and we just rotate between them. And when we were both attacking them, you kill them so quick that you just go boss farm, boss farm, boss farm. And I think bosses have a higher drop rate of echoes than standard mobs because, like, we both were at the point where it says 20% drop chance. I swear bosses are like 50 to 80 from my experience. And we were just like tunneling through and we left co-op.
Oh, you're cooking.
I went to do a boss and I'm like, this is way too fucking slow. It was just like, dude, I want to just jump back into co-op to farm. Like that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, co-op, because Grim's the only one I know on JP server, you can get up to 4 players in it.
Oh my god!
So
wait, this is crazy, Volk, because you're basically saying once you get and open up co-op, you shouldn't be playing alone anymore.
Not to do the standard farm, So there's some things you can't do. You can't do the Memory of Chaos. You can't do the simulated universe.
This changes everything.
But like even to the point where there's the weekly boss, which is the turtle. There's 2 of them. There's the turtle and then there's the other guy. The other guy doesn't become an echo, so you can't do him together, but you can do the turtle together as well, because that's an echo, so you can get that drop. Oh,
that you're talking about the Calamity boss, the big. I haven't fought that boss yet.
Yeah,
there's the Calamity boss and then there's Scar. You talking about the weekly boss fights?
Yeah. There's the Scar one and then the turtle one. But yeah, it's super. It's just super clean. Like we tried interacting with, like, because Grim came to my world and we were trying to do the puzzles and he couldn't interact, but I don't know if it's because he'd already done those puzzles. So I'm not too sure on that. But in general, the game just felt better in co-op than by yourself. It just feels cool because like then you can go AFK for a little bit and I was just off getting a drink. Grim's gone and killed like three groups of mobs and I just walk up and collect my echoes. It was good. It was good.
That's the whole purpose of MMO and multiplayer in general. It's shit like that. That's cool. It brings back that I'm like kind of speechless right now because I'm sitting here thinking I did not even know there was a multiplayer mode. That's the funny thing. Secondly, everything you just explained to me is like the thing everyone wants in all multiplayer games. It seems. Yeah. And it seems like they've struck a balance to where you do multiplayer, because gamers are prideful. We want to solo bosses.
Yeah.
But you do multiplayer just for the standard grind, as you stated. But then you go back into your own world and you just solo the bosses at the highest level.
Yeah, because like
I love that.
We tried to do the simulation bosses or whatever they are, you know, the level 27 unlock bosses. You can't do them together, so you can't do the hard content together. It's just to speed up that grind, which I think is cool. I also think they could maybe implement some hard co-op content where it's hard content, but co-op. That's what my hopes are for the future with it. I feel like that would be cool. But yeah, in general, I think co-op's really well done. And the fact that there's benefits to it is huge. Like, and it's not game breaking benefits where your account's busted if you don't have it.
No, just efficiency, man. Saves up time, like we talked about with the adult schedules and shit. It saves you like 75% of your time. You have 4 players in the party. Yeah.
So the next thing we want to test is, say I'm AFK. Can Grim go around and kill every boss like 10 times? Will the echoes still be sitting there so I can go and collect like 8 echoes? Like that's something we're gonna test out.
I mean, it seems to me like what you've just already explained confirms that. But I mean, go ahead and try it.
It's just a matter of if you kill the boss and then the echo's there, when the boss respawns, does the echo disappear because the boss is back? Yeah. That's what we got to find out. But like, if you can team up, like say like I didn't test 4-player, but say you can party up in like a team of 4 people, and it's like, okay, guys, we're AFK today, but you two are farming. They spend an hour farming bosses. We come back on, they're all there, and we collect like 30. You know what I mean? Like this is.
So you're saying the hollow thingy. It just remains for permanent for people to collect, and then you just have a bunch of them on the field from grinding. So I don't know. They might have an expiration date. That's what we're thinking, just for that very reason.
But we'll test it. We'll test it nonetheless. But yeah, it's really cool. Like even Brax hit me up. He's like, dude, do you want to play co-op today while I stream? And I'm like, I'd love to, but I'm on JP server. No can.
Yeah.
But
I think that's incredible. I look forward to playing co-op now. I don't know what level I am. I think I'm like 20 something. I don't know. Yeah. But I wanted to get into story. You said you just skipped the story entirely, right?
Yeah. You go. Give me your rundown, because I've seen mixed opinions online. Some people really hated it. Some people loved it. I got no idea. The cutscenes were cool. That's about all I know.
Motherfucking come over here, bro, because this damn light's all in my way. You're gonna have to edit that, Volkin.
No, you're all right.
All right, yeah, no. So the story, I'll be honest with you. Like me personally, you always have these people who have their biases for gacha games. Like people say Genshin Impact has an incredible story. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, think Genshin Impact story is a 6 out of 10. Like it's 70% of that convoluted as gacha dialogue and 30% of good dialogue. So I go into Wuthering Waves with the same expectations. In the beginning of the story, they set up the world and all the concepts of the world beautifully. I was actually interested. They have dragons in each like region that basically are essentially gods. And then they have just how, Honkai Star Rail has emanators. They have their magistrates, which I believe are the representatives of that god's power, that dragon's power.
Yep.
They had me there. I was loving that shit. And then, just like every gacha game, they start going on these side tangents, like of just shit you don't need to hear about. And it's just like, before you know it, I'm just like, wait, what am I even listening to, bro? And that's that experience I always get with gacha games. And here's my problem. I'm going to sum this up real quick. Volkin, if I tell you I'm going to the gas station to go get a snack, that's it. That's all I need to explain to you. I'm going to the gas station to get a snack.
I'm going to walk to the shelf.
If a gacha game explains they're going to the gas station, you're going to be like, so I opened my door and I saw a wasp nest up to the left-hand corner, and it had evidence of wasp being there. Then I saw a cat walking across the street. And then I walked and I realized the weather was hot. So I decided to go back in my house and get a jacket. Take off my jacket. Like, I'm just like, bro, I don't need to hear all this, bro. Yeah. What in the yapology? So that's the experience I've gotten with Wuthering Waves. Is it a good story, in my opinion, based off of my cultured connoisseur gaming fucking catalog of games I've played? No, it's dog shit. But in the realms of gacha, people keep saying this game needs a good story to succeed. No, it doesn't. It needs a good story in a gacha gamer's mind. Which in a gacha gamer's mind, that's pretty damn standard, bro.
Yeah. See, for me, like, and the thing is, I feel like a lot of people are different. But like for me, I'm like, even if like I'm I'm pretty simple when it comes to story. I'm like the worst critic on things because like I'm just like it was entertaining. Like as long as there's a cool cutscene, like I'm cool because I really don't give a shit. Like I don't play games for deep story. Like I used to love playing all the Halo games for the story and stuff like that when I was younger. Right. In a gacha game, man, dude, I just want an easy grind, fun, something to do end game, you know, and just a good experience. So it doesn't really stress me too much, but yeah, I don't think it lives and dies on the story.
It doesn't.
I think it's more.
Will say this.
I think it's more the combat systems.
I'm like, no, because I think what Tech and many people fail to realize is that good story in a gacha gamer's head is the standards are so much lower. Yeah, they're so much lower. You know, like, and that's the gacha audience. So they're gonna think a Genshin Impact player will probably think this story is great because Genshin Impact story is mid and they think it's great. So yeah, that's my personal experience with that, man.
And see, this is my thing with story as well. Is like I'm that guy that gets into a game. In a beta, I don't want to listen to the story because I want to progress as quick as possible.
Correct.
Because I want to learn everything. Full launch comes. I don't want to do the story. I want to progress as quick as possible. Like, there's no time in which I want to sit there and do a story. It's just not my way of playing a game. So, I mean, whatever it may be, like, everyone's going to have to make their own mind up about the story. But, yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, Star Rail, like, the story ain't a main part of that to me either. Like, it's just like, no, I just want to play with characters. So,
I'll admit, though, Honkai's has the best gacha story that I've experienced. Like, it has. It's been more entertaining. It's been less convoluted and more to the point. I've enjoyed it, but even I'd give Honkai Star Rail story a 7.5 out of 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just that we can conclude that up with the story. I would like to finish it off with this. I don't like, and this is again my last tidbit on story. I don't like gacha games following one gacha game's infrastructure and formula for telling story. And I've noticed they all copy Genshin.
Yeah.
They all copy them. It's sit person there. They never ever move. It's completely static background, and they just yap. And it's just like there's many different formulas. Like, why do y'all have to do the same formula? It's insane. Go ahead. You want to say something?
What I think a lot of games, and like I said, I didn't play through the story, so I don't know. But I feel like what a lot of games miss out on is, and this could be like my memory making it feel like things were better. Like I remember like early Halo story was cool cutscenes. Then while you were running around playing the game, like Cortana was talking to you, explaining things. When you come up to a new area, it's while you're playing, you get the dialogue. Whereas these games, pause, stop. You have to watch and listen to this. Whereas if it happened while I was playing, I could be killing some mobs. I've got like, you know, something talking to me, explaining what's going on in the world while I'm playing the game. That's what I loved about Halo. Like I just remember like the silent cartographer when you're going up to it, and then Cortana's like explaining everything while you're like bashing in on some Covenant and stuff like that. Like I feel like that is
or nothing's happening.
Yeah, I feel like that is missed in gacha games. I want the story to be cutscenes. And then the rest of it to be while I'm playing. Because that way, if I see a cutscene, even though I'm not paying attention to story, I'll watch it because it's cool, it's well produced, it's all that.
Yes.
But I'm not going to stop myself playing to watch two basically PNGs talk to each other. I'm going to skip that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if that dialogue happened while I was progressing, then I would listen to it and I would get involved in the story. I think that's the way I look at it.
I mean, the conversation me and you are having right now, I had with my chat, and the answer you gave was the exact same answer I gave to my chat. I said, they asked me what's a good story then, Smack, and I was like, well, Final Fantasy VII and God of War are both fantastic stories. Remake and God of War, God tier stories. And you know the difference between them and a gacha game story? You're talking and walking. You know what I mean? You're not just sitting there watching two people yap the whole time. You're talking and walking. You're going through the town and like getting to literally take all the scenery in while they're having that dialogue. It's just infinitely more digestible. And I think this is the ultimate feedback that gacha companies should receive. But then again, I also think the reason they set it up like this is because it's just good for budget. You know what I mean? Like it's low effort. It's like it's like the content. It's like my content. I don't have any fancy edits, but you're going to get the content you need. You know what I mean? So it's like it saves them time. They don't have to put a lot of time and energy in it, and you still have your dialogue to read. But it is worth mentioning. That was the last thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of like content. No one wants to sit there and watch my ugly face talk, but you know, B-roll's hard. you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
But
So the next thing I want to get into is your take on the combat experience. I'll share mine after you go ahead and share yours.
honestly, I think now that I'm a bit further in, I think they nailed combat experience. The general shit is pretty easy, even at the level you're supposed to be at. The hard shit, dude. I spent 20 minutes on stream getting chat to teach me how to parry because I'd never played the other betas. I didn't know how parrying worked, and
it took a while for me too.
Yeah, it was like, because I was fighting a boss that was at range, and I'm like, but the circle happens while you're at range. They're like, no, that's your trigger, and then he lunges, and then you parry the lunge. So you got like these two circles, and when they match up, you just got to use a basic attack, and then you do it.
Correct.
But spamming basic attack makes you miss the timing, so you've got to be more like, and so. The hard bosses are hard and punishing. I do think you will get to that stage, like any gacha game, where you become max level. You become over. It reminds me of Memory of Chaos in Star Rail. Everyone was struggling because everyone was like level 60 trying to do MOC 10 with no gear. But once you get to level 80 and you've got good sets of gear, you just face roll the whole thing. And I think it will be like that, but I think it will still be enjoyable in that you do feel like you get punished. Like even when you even in like just open world stuff, when you get hit and you get like knocked down, you feel punished for it. So I think that hard content will still be hard, but it'll be forgiving in the end game because you'll have enough HP. Whereas at the moment, if you're like, I'm doing difficulty 2 of those hard modes, I get one tapped by anything I get hit by. So it's just like, you're dead. So like it's super hard. So I do like it. I think they've done a good balance between making stuff accessible for everyone to do, making the hard stuff hard, but if you're really good, you can push beyond your limits. But once we get to the end game, I'm curious to see, but I think it's just going to be everyone will be able to do it because you can. But the other thing I will touch on combat is I feel like this is a sad point for me. The only 5-star I've pulled is the healer twice.
Volk, I think they fucking scuffed the whole thing. Not only did you pull it, I pulled it. Tech pulled it. I just saw Pokey tweet that he pulled her.
Guoba pulled it.
I feel like okay, so Guoba, I feel like they yoinked her freaking percentage up of pulls because there's no way all the creators are getting the same character.
And in this early phase, all you want is a good chunky DPS so you can clear mobs quick and get some echoes early and clear through the content. And I'm like, I don't care about a healer. She feels clunky as shit. I know. But
wait, hold up. Wait, no, never mind. I think we're talking about a different person then. You said a healer?
Yeah, the little flower girl, the 5-star.
She's a healer? I thought she was a DPS. You're talking about the fire girl, right? She does fire?
No, she's DPS.
Drops a teddy bear?
No, she's DPS. No, the healer. There's a healer. She's a flower girl.
Oh, I didn't get her. Never mind. I was talking about the fire girl, bro.
Fire girl looks good. You got some DPS. Yeah, no. I got a... They got a healer, so like I can't do anything. And then so I got her from my pity, and then I beat the pity on the standard banner. I got her again. I was like, no way.
I'm dying.
And I'm sitting here, and the person I'm playing with this whole time is Grimro, and he gets the kung fu chick with shields, and like she's just absolutely nuts to me at the moment.
He got fucking GENSHIN, bro. However you pronounce her name.
He got her. He got the dragon mask guy, and he got Gian, and so he's like stomping around with these three, and I got 2.
What is this?
And I got 2 copies of the healer, and I'm like, what am I doing with this? I don't even use her because I prefer the 4-star healer. I don't even use her.
Those are fighting words.
Yeah,
no, that's insane, man.
But okay, that was a big tangent I got on. But what I was trying to say is, I've been testing out the 4-stars, and
I'm fucking pissed.
They all feel cool. Like they feel different and unique, and they all have different places.
Yes.
Like the one I'm loving, I think it's like Danjin. I don't know how to say her name properly, but Danjin, I think her name is. And she's got this really cool. It worried me because it felt like Arlen a bit. Like, don't do the Arlen treatment.
That's my favorite character.
But it was like she sacrificed. Like, so you know how most characters' E skill is like on a cooldown and all that.
I'm maining her.
Yeah, dude, I love her so much. So like you do like
go ahead and explain for the audience.
You basically is this character. You do 2 basic attacks, and then you do 2 skills because the skill's spammable, and then you put a damage taken increase by 20% on the boss with that. Then you do 3 basic attacks and 3 skills. You do big damage, and then by the time you do that, you get her resource gauge to halfway. And once it gets to halfway or beyond, you can do a charged basic attack. She does like this massive attack, and then when it finishes, she does like a huge basic attack, and then it heals her for 50%. But every time she uses her skill, she's draining her health. So you basically feather, unless you have a healer, you're feathering between 1 HP and 50% HP the whole time. It's this really cool thing. Her ult looks absolutely savage, and she goes absolutely berserk mode. And
it's weeb.
And it's just she's so cool, but at the same time, she's really annoying and trash like around the world because you get down to 1 HP, just some random spray from like the 8th mob in the world hits you, and then you're dead, and you're like shit. But you can buy. I found out you can buy the revive things around in the shop, and so I just stocked up with the revive things, and I'm like, okay, then you just hit, and that's another cool thing. If you got a dead character, you got to swap to them. If you've got like the revive potion in your inventory, it's just like, do you want to use it? And then you just hit yes mid combat, and they're revived. Now, it doesn't work in like hard content, but in general world it does. So that's my take.
It happened with me.
I think combat's good. That was a long take on combat.
No, dude, you're good. I mean, that's the whole purpose we're having this talk, right? I have her too, and she's my favorite character in the game. And for people who played League of Legends, she's literally like Riven, but in an action combat game. What Volkin was saying, like basically her skill is tied to her basic attacks. If you basic attack skill, you can basic attack skill with a finisher, right? If you basic attack 3 times, then your skill is usable 3 times. And I love complexity like that. It's the coolest fucking shit ever. But what I will say is the 4-star characters, going back to the point you mentioned, they feel so good that I actually don't feel pressured to get 5-star characters. They feel incredible. Like they feel like 5-star characters. And I think that's the cool thing about an action game is the fact that the 4-star characters feel so good to the point where you don't need the 5 stars. You look like you wanted to add something in.
I have a take that I think what they're doing is they're making the 4-star characters more skill-based than the 5s. At the moment, from what I've seen from the 5 stars. Because if you look at Gian, you basically
brain dead.
Yeah, brain dead. Just spam, use his skill. I mean, I only played the tutorial, so maybe it's beyond that. But it looks like just spam, use his skill when it's there. Use your ultimate, and then he goes into God mode, and his basic attacks basically group everything within a 50-meter radius, juggle them so they're CC, and kill them. So it's like I feel like 5 stars are good. It becomes the game's actually going to be pay to win, because if you can't win, you buy the characters that are easier to use, and then you win. Because like that's and maybe it changes. Maybe the characters do get more complex. But like if you look at the Kung Fu girl, she puts this shield on, which means you can basically just face roll around the world and you don't take damage and you don't get stunned and stuff like that. So it feels like 4 stars are more skill cap based, whereas the 5 stars are just, I'm just going to do everything and make the game easy for you. Which I kind of lean into, hopefully they make more of those cool play styles. Like if you look at the ice 4-star chick that you get from, and if I remember, I'll edit in some B-roll of these characters while I talk about them. The ice 4-star that you get from day 5 of login, I pulled her. She's got this really cool thing where her meter, because everyone has their own gauge at the bottom of the screen. What happens is when you do a charge attack, it has a little dial that goes across, and there's a window you got to land it in. And if you land it in that window, she does like this big lunge attack.
Oh, that's nice.
But if you use her skill, she puts up this ice pillar and like it's like a line of ice to hit the enemies, and it increases the window of the liney. So then you hit it. But on top of that, if you use that proper charged attack and you get it in the middle, and she does her lunge attack and she hits the ice pillar, it destroys it and it deals extra damage. And then her ult is similar to the ice pillar. It's like a different name of an ice thing, but it's like, it's really cool stuff. And I'm like, this is cool. Whereas the 5 stars is like just face roll.
Well, it's hard for me to visualize what you're saying. I'd have to see it. But what I will say is it sounded to me like basically what you were getting at is there was a lot of complexity in her kit, giving you a variety of options to utilize based on the scenario, which is huge because that's good character design. You don't want a character, in my opinion, that just does one thing over and over again. That was my negative to your rebuttal about the 5 stars, or my rebuttal to your 5-star design. I love that they're making 4 stars so damn cool that they're getting away from like this meta mindset and really tailoring more into how can you make a character feel good and enjoyable while still playing and beating the game. I love that, but I don't want 5-star characters who just have this brain dead ass kit. Like I do want some complexity. I'm a complexity fucking nerd.
Like I said, I hope they introduce that, but like at the moment, like from the 5 stars I've seen, it just feels like Gian, like, dude, I want Gian on global because just like the first 3 days of just clearing the world and stuff, he makes it so quick.
Everything.
Like,
his ult is insane.
Yeah, it's like literally, I just try and get a couple energy recharge pieces, even if it's not optimal for his DPS, just so I can use that ult more often and just juggle everything and make the whole game easy mode. Like,
yeah, this fucking sunlight, bro. I'm about to like go out there and snatch it out the sky, bro. It's like piercing through my head.
Yeah,
it's bothering me, bro. But now, look, going back to it, to end off the combat talk, I love that echo system, man, dude. It's like an extra ability 800 times, or there's 228 echoes.
We'll transition into
like,
the whole echo talk after this, I reckon. Good transition.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just like that echo getting implemented inside of the combat is so cool. The fire girl, I put an echo on her that recharges her energy, and she's all about her ult. Yeah. And this echo just comes up to this big ass boss bird, slams on their head while battering her up, and then I go into her pop ult, do her little charge attack that taunts everybody. I swap to another character, she's still taunting them. I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. Like, that is good 3-man rotation combat design. Like, she's on the field taunting them. I've already switched over and I'm dicing them up while they're still getting taunted, bro. I'm like, this is lit.
Have you seen, that's not the turtle, is it? The turtle does. Have you seen the turtle? Have you?
I haven't. Wait, you're talking about, you're talking about the dance turtle.
The dance turtle.
Yeah, dude, I think that was the highlight of Wuthering Waves. Nobody expected that, bro. Nah. I told Rogue, I said, Rogue, you got to get every CC's reaction of seeing that for the first time and EXE that shit. It'll be gold.
Yeah, I just put it in my video because I couldn't believe it because I went the turtle. It's like you turn into a turtle and restore health, and then it turns into the disco turtle. And it's just like jam.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is too cool.
It back. It's great, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, and like. I remember you saying you had a bit of a weird feeling for Wuthering Waves when you first started it, but like I've been loving the game except story. Like everything except story has been fantastic for me. And I told people from the get-go, I don't care about the story.
Yeah. So to me, there is so much copy pasta Genshin stuff in there. Like you can't escape it. There is so much copy pasta.
Yeah.
But the one thing that they did try to establish themselves on, they fucking nailed it. That echo system is so... Now, I don't know if it gets tedious later on. I'm hoping... my pray is... Because I haven't seen a shiny yet, which is good. I'm happy I haven't seen one because it means the rates are super low. But if you've ever done shiny hunting in Pokemon, there's always some method you can do that brings your rates from like 1 in 8,000 to 1 in 4,000. I'm hoping they have some sort of method so that I'm not just mindlessly going around killing every mob in the world, but like I'm doing something to increase my chances so that I feel rewarded. Like I remember in like Ruby Sapphire, there was like a way where like you use this machine, the locator thing, you find one, the grass shakes, and as you get more of the same enemy Pokemon in a row, your chances go up until you're like in a 1 in 8 chance and you get one. So I hope there's something like that so I can spend 8 hours dedicating my time inside the game to getting that shiny and then I can get it or something like that. I hope they do have something, but in general, like that's just the nerd Pokemon in me coming out with the shiny stuff.
Well, you know, Volk, this is where our gaming community really comes into clutch. There's going to be people who aren't CCs who will figure that shit out, put it on Reddit, and then the formula will be out there for us to consume in mass. Like, they're goated with that, bro. Just those sweaty gamers that are, like, taking one for the entirety of the fucking community.
Dude.
It's so going back to combat, because there's a lot about combat. The one thing I did critique, I want them to fix, is, dude, I need the sound to sound better. I needed to be more potent. It didn't sound powerful enough. I don't know if it was a beta thing. But when I was playing with Gion and he was doing his dragon shit, I could barely hear the ticks.
Yeah.
I could barely feel it. I need to feel and hear that shit. It makes the combat experience 80 million times better.
I've heard people say it was better in the CBT1, the audio takes and stuff like that, like the audio cues. Like there is the one good cue, like when you get your concerto energy full so you can do the intro outro attacks, like it has that shing that comes in. Like I do appreciate that. I like audio cues on shit like that. So there is that one audio cue, but the rest of the general combat audio isn't there. However, I'm also that guy where when I used to play World of Warcraft, I used to play on mute in arena and only have and only have like key sounds on because it's only shit that but like that's for super sweaty stuff in a casual game like this. Like I want like the big like everything. Like he brings that dragon out. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Like
because it's everything.
Yeah, it's the immersion.
Like World of Warcraft, you could chill. It's fine. Like it's a completely different dynamic, bro. This is an action game, and you're fighting bosses with badass fight music. I need to hear.
Oh, dude, you hit something we hadn't talked about. Audio, the music, dude. There's some bangers in the combat.
It's a bit inconsistent though. I'll be honest.
There's some that are good.
There's the birds. The bird one was freaking legendary. Yeah. Right. And then there was Scars. His was legendary. But then there's like some of the elite bosses where I need to hear that. I need to hear it on every fight, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah. But yeah, some of the music, like you just walk in and you're like, wow, this is an experience. They definitely nailed that.
All the shit I was talking about beforehand. I was telling people I need boss fights with exhilaration and good ass music. And then the only thing you're missing, polish up those sound effects. And I think they got a good thing going there.
Yeah. I think in general it's good, but do you want to go back to Echoes for a minute? Yeah.
Ecosystem. Yeah. No, go ahead.
I don't know how deep you are in Echoes, but it's essentially...
You're way ahead of me, Volk.
Yeah.
Everything you just told me is like you're doing multiplayer farming and all that. Dude, I'm so like far behind you. It's not even funny.
I'll try and TLDR how it actually works. If you think of Star Rail, how you have the chest piece, and then you have the orb. Let's say chest and orb. So in this game, you have... Echoes, some of them are 1 cost units. So when you put them into your 5 pieces, they cost 1. Your max limit on cost you can have is 12. So you've got 1 costers.
It increases though.
I'm at 12 at level 30. It was like 9 at the start. I think it caps at 12.
Oh, it caps at 12?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember like cheating ahead and I saw the points, but I didn't look at the max. I guess you're probably right.
Yeah, I think it caps at 12, which would make sense when you see it. But then you've got 3 costers and 4 costers. Now, the bosses in the world, they're the 4 cost ones. And they have your crit damage, crit rate, healing main stats. And then you've got the 3 costers, which have all your elemental damages. They also have energy regeneration. And then everything can have attack, defense, and HP. And then you've got your 1 costers, which only have attack, defense, or HP as a main stat. So that's basically the way it works. You can match it up to 12. I think the way most people will end up doing it is going to be a 4 cost, 2 3 cost, 2 1 cost equals you 12. Happy days. But you can put 2 4 costs in it, but they have to be of a different set. So there's a lot of stuff that goes in. Now, that's just the TLDR. I'm not going to go too deep on that. But the one thing I will say is, because people might hear about this Echo, endless farming, feeling like they have to endless farm the world. No, there is a bottleneck, but it's not on getting them. And it's whether you like grinding or not, whether you're going to like this or not, because what you have is when you reach level 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 with an Echo, you unlock a slot for a substat. But then you have to use an item to unlock that substat. And that item is going to be the bottleneck on upgrading the things, the Echoes, because you need that.
So I want to understand this correctly, though. Can you still? Because this is an important question for the community. I'm gonna play the fucking viewer who wants to ask these little annoying questions, but they're good. They're good questions. Can you get the highest rarity of that Echo prior to the bottleneck experience?
Yes.
So like you get the highest rarity of them with the best base stats, but now you have to use the stamina to get the substats.
Yeah. So I'm at the point where I'm starting to farm gold rarity, which is the like 5-star relics. So
that's huge. That's huge. You just dismantled all the Wuthering Waves haters right there, because they were saying you're gonna get 4-star gear. No, you can get 5-star gear, but to improve the substats, you have to spend stamina. That's the bottleneck.
Not to improve them. I haven't seen a way to. You know how in Star Rail you get the substat and you get rolls into it. In this game, it's just like no. You level it up. And when you get to level 5, it's got like this substat slot and it says available. Then for 10, the next one's available, And then all you do is if you spend 1, it unlocks 1 substat. What you get is what you get. But they're big. Like you can get like a, like, you know, I think I saw like a 15% HP substat. So I don't know. I've got to find out more.
You're still going. You're still going. Yeah. But you can farm the highest quality gear though in the open world.
So this is the thing. If you're willing to grind, you can easily. This is so
important to them. I don't think you understand.
You can easily fill out the right main stat on every character.
Yes.
The bottleneck is going to be substats, and what I'm experimenting with is okay. I want the right main stat. I've got the right main stat. Okay, I'll put 1 substat into this. If it's not, if I've got like a crit rate or crit damage main stat, if that sub is not crit rate or crit damage or like energy regen or another core part of my character's kit, if it's not the top 3. Scrap it. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
I think early on, what you want to do is get right main stat, just max out some gear so you got something decent for your main character, at least your main DPS. And then you get super picky, and away you go.
Yeah.
So...
Volk, you're savage. I would not scrap it on the first one. I would scrap it maybe on the second one. You're like, first one, trash, get out of my face, bro.
It all comes down to how hard it is to get it. Now, the other thing that they do with the echoes is, which makes sense, you can't feed level 0 echoes into other echoes. Otherwise, that would be infinite echo experience. So
I didn't know that. So what do? You just have a fucking endless
there's like potions. It's kind of like experience books.
Oh.
And so you got to get there. So it's another thing you've got to grind, which I don't like that, because now instead of, like Star Rail or something where you just got to have some credits, in this game you got to have credits and you've got to have experience to level up your echoes.
That is annoying.
The one thing is you can feed your leveled up echoes into the other echoes at about like a 20% experience loss.
Deficit. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad though. That's really not that bad, because the thing is, again, the echo is a triple threat. So I don't trip on it too much, because you build it up. It's part of your gear. It's also part of your combat move that you're utilizing, and it's part of the exploration experience. So I think it's fine. It's such a massive system. It's a focal point of the game, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, it's my
so
favorite
unique.
part. Yeah.
It's so freaking, and I don't know about you, but I've been paying attention closely to the details of each one. They look good, man. It's like, and they didn't do a Power World. They actually made their own version of these like echoes, even though it's a Pokemon influence.
Dude,
that's how you like literally separate it. Go ahead,
dude. There's one of them. It's like a monster crab with a car on its back and stuff. Like, there's really, the echoes are cool. Like, I love them.
To separate that identity, though, you can't say, "Oh, you copied Pokemon." No, bro, they influenced from Pokemon, and they put their own twist in their own formula, spice into it. Yeah, which I like.
And and that's like the animal ones they have. They're just like beefy versions of the animal. Like the boars are just like beefy as fuck boars. The scorpions are just like massive scorpions. Like there's nothing like kitty cartoony about them. Like you get really like the apes. The apes look wicked. Like the one like the boss ape, and then like you pound, you kick them, and then you come in and you like pound them.
Yeah, that shit is sick.
And basically early game, just put one of those boss monsters on every one of your characters, and just rotate through. Use those, because like I remember like pre level 20. 90% of my damage was coming out of those, because the boss monsters just deal so much damage with those echoes early on. So you just come in and you just rotate through 3 characters using the boss echoes and just clap.
How did you like the final boss fight of the story campaign? I had the meanest Souls game experience with that guy. He was so fun. I just did it last night. It's the dude with the freak. He looks like an Elden Ring boss.
I can't remember the last fight of the campaign.
Wait, did you? Okay, so I can't. I don't want to spoil for people. That's why.
I'm done the campaign.
Oh, you've done the whole thing. So basically, it's Scar's transformation.
Oh yeah, he's one of the weekly bosses as well.
Yeah, dude.
They show that boss fight in the trailers.
Yeah, they do.
If you make a mistake, he picks you up and then he slams you around like the Hulk on Loki.
It's like so sick. I that was the only fight in the entirety of the game where I felt like I was playing a Souls game. I was like, this is so, and not necessarily the difficulty, just how the boss was moving, the delay to hits, like boom, and then he's like all over the place. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then like you said, bro was spamming ult on me in my playthrough. I'm probably gonna upload it, but he was spamming his ult on me, bro. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and I find that's a big thing. Like once you get hit once by a boss, like I lose composure, and then I just like start getting just pummeled. So,
start fumbling.
Yeah, but I find it really fun, and I think that's the thing like that I like about it. It's like, okay, like now you get into the section of it's a casual game. It's got hard combat. Once again, maxed out. Who knows? But so you like. Now, like from a content standpoint, I'm like, okay, are you guys shit like me? Try this team. It might be better for you than the max damage output.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it like has that, like you said earlier, playstyle is everything in my opinion in these games.
Yes. In these exactly. You just hit me to the points. I was just getting ready to say, this is the kind of game where you kind of don't have to worry about the meta slaves.
Yeah.
Because it's a game where you could, for instance, the 4-star who drains her own health, you could put HP and defense on her just to make her incredibly tanky, and that's okay because it's an action game where it's fully involving you. countering and mastering the boss fights. If you don't get hit a single time, it doesn't matter how you build that character. What matters is how you set up the combat experience for the viewer to enjoy. Like you're just walking, waiting on him to attack, you counter him perfectly with 1 HP remaining. Like that shit is everything. And I think that kind of genre definitely it just deflects a meta slave, which is nice.
Yeah, and
I don't have their meta content always.
And so what you'll experience is for the first 2 months, everyone will talk about meta because meta is the most important thing because you're trying to clear stuff because a lot of it's a DPS check.
Yes.
And if you don't have the DPS, doesn't matter how good you are at playing, you won't clear the content because it's a DPS. It's straight. They have timers. And if you don't do it in time, you lose. So I feel like the first 2 months, it'll be all meta. Like this is what you have. And then it's literally new characters. Like I'll get more excited for 4-star characters than 5-star characters if they have a cool playstyle. And that's what I like. And then 4 stars, you got to add on and this is what I love about a new game, going in and looking at the dupes or the eidolons, like that chick that we like. So one, she has a 20% damage taken increased debuff to put on the enemy. At max dupe, she also, or is it 5? I can't remember which one it is. She also has a 20% increased attack for your team when she uses her heavy attack.
Nice.
And I'm like, this is cool. So now she becomes like, I'm like, I can see her being my supportive character, but then when you break a boss, she goes in and does her full combo because you're not a threat of getting tapped and killed. And that's the way I've been playing her. I'm like, it just gets me super excited, all that sort of that realm of stuff.
Well, those little variables that you're throwing in, that's what makes up the beauty of the 3-man team. Like you want to have a team where everyone's helping you do your thing with your rotations, or maybe they're just all focusing in on that one DPS. But those little variables where she pops out, 20% damage bonus given to the next person who pops in. Yeah, I love little things like that in these 3-man team oriented games. Yeah, they're super nice.
And for instance, what I'm really I think what I want to do on global is reroll for the shielding kung fu chick because she puts a shield on. Dude. So then you put the shield on with her, swap to this chick. She's at low HP, but
the shield stays.
Shield stays.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, Volk. That's huge.
Yeah, so...
That's so cool. I'm totally going to do that because, dude, if I can get a shield on old girl with the 1 HP remaining, that's like, this changes everything. It does, though. That's so freaking cool, man. Oh, you got me pumped up about that, brother. That's fucking fire.
I just pulled a 4-star that has shields, so I'm going to test her and see if hers carry over as well because that would be cool. Then I just use that as a 4-star combo. But
well, that's what I was pondering on myself. I was like, how do I fix that problem just in case you're not this super sweaty nerd who counters every single thing in the game, because you always, even if you master a monster's patterns, you eventually get fucking popped.
The thing is, when you watch those incredible runs that people do, I did one of those in Punishing Grey Raven, the 0 damage, 1 character, base character. Dude, you're sitting there for hours trying to get that
off
run.
Screen.
This is the thing I love about streaming. It's you get to see how bad I am. I haven't really played action games properly since Punishing Grey Ravens. So I'm trying to get. The other thing that's killing me is, in the beta you can't change keybinds, and I'm just trying to get used to a whole new way of playing the game because the keybinds aren't what I want them to be. It's I'm like,
dude, pressing that T button for me is.
It was so funny. I was on stream and the boys like, dude, that grappling hook dodge was epic, and I'm like, yeah, it definitely wasn't because I accidentally hit T when I was trying to hit R to use my ultimate.
Bro, my fat same thing on stream. I was like, bro, my fat ass finger, bro. I need to press O.
Because I have the old I have the Razor Naga, and so since WoW days, I want to have all my attacks on there, but they aren't. My attacks are still E, R, T, and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, no, I want those on my mouse. I'm used to my mouse.
I don't even know how you do that, dude. I got the most basic ass mouse, bro.
Holy shit. What's the latency on that thing? You got wireless mouse. What are you doing?
Volk, I got the most booty cheek mouse of all time, but I've always been an advocate of just practicing with the keyboard until you become a master at it. And I'll tell you what, I've been doing that for 10 years. It ain't worked out well, bro.
Yeah, well, back when I was playing WoW, you had that many keybinds. I had Q through T up to G, V, C. And I had all those bound. And then I had shift and alt variations of all of them. And then I had the 12 buttons on my mouse bound plus shift and alt variations on all of them. And I'm like, this is I still have more keybinds. And it's what am I doing here? I got super used to the Naga and I absolutely love it. But
zoning us back in though, man. Overall, what would you give Wuthering Waves beta your experience with it?
Before we go into the rating, any issues you have or problem for foreseeable problems.
Foreseeable problems is a good one. The foreseeable problem, one of them is, will you eventually get tired of grinding echoes in the open world? Which I think is an unfair argument, because you eventually get tired. You can make that argument for any fucking game out there. But it's an argument that I know a lot of people are going to try and make. Can they continue to improve upon that exploration? Because I think exploration is very huge in the open world exploration games. One big thing that everyone, well, not everyone, but everyone outside of Genshin Impact that's quit Genshin Impact over however many years it's been out complains about is, once you get through that updated patch, there's literally nothing to do except the meme collect mint. Whereas in Wuthering Waves, it's collect mint and now farm echoes and try to get shinies. Will they continue to expand upon that? Because everybody eventually moves on. You know, it just happens. Will they continue to add in newer echoes to expand upon the relic system? Because the one negative, or not concern, is echoes are tied to your relics. So if they want to add in new relics, they have to add in new echoes. They have to. It's tied together. So how are they going to go about and constantly adding in those new relics and making it synergize with releasing characters for the foreseeable future? I think that's a big concern. And then will they eventually add in raids? That's all.
Yeah, and so I'm already feeling it. Like I said, because I also had that conscious thing of I was sitting there for 2 days of just playing it flat out, going, dude, I don't know if I can keep up this grind. I'm getting exhausted by it. I was getting burnt out. But that was also because I was trying to think of real life. I got to do shit, and I was sweating super hard. I do think that the echo, I don't think you'll continuously farm echoes in the world, because you'll hit the point where you got the good main stat ones, and then maybe you go, they've got a good system where you can go to your logbook, you find the echo that you want, and then you hit track, and it'll show you on the map where the closest one is. You go kill that, it automatically shows you where the next closest one of that echo is. And so you can farm for that one echo that you want until you get the right main stat, like that. Yeah. But yeah, there will always be that enticement to keep farming it, which I think can lead to a bit of burnout for people that want to min max. The one thing I will say, and this might be an interesting one, is I feel like the ecosystem and the endless farmable might trigger spenders, because it feels like a massive free-to-play advantage. If you're free-to-play...
No, because they just have to tweak it, just like you said with shiny Pokemon. You just have to make the percentages of a grind fest. If you make the percentages a grind fest, then it should even out. And honestly, I feel like Wells, because they have so much money, they just don't give a fuck anyway.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's I think
you could be right,
because they do have a Caverns of Corrosion thing where you can you get it, but it's dude, in that Caverns of Corrosion, it costs 60 stamina, and I did it, and I got 1 gold echo. I go kill mobs for 10 minutes, and I end up with 5 gold echoes now.
Yeah.
So it's
multiplayer.
Yeah, but that takes time and effort, whereas the whales, you think they just want to dump the stamina to do it quickly, and they're not getting free to play is actually getting a better deal out of it. So I think they got to adjust the rewarding system on their Caverns of Corrosion. Maybe
that's a fair point.
Maybe make it include much more experience and those the substat unlock things, so that if you are a whale and you are doing that, you've got the greater incentive. And I think that there's some balance to be had there on that whole type of system. The other thing that I think is honestly the major concern for me, and it was one of my major issues with Genshin, why I never played, and this is always a controversial take, and people always hate me when I say it.
If they hate you, they're a moron.
But no auto to farm in the right now. Doing anything is fun because it's fresh. In a year's time, do you really want to be manualing the stupid grind to get some character XP?
The thing that you've done 1,000 times essentially.
Yeah, and let's face it, the character XP stages. I don't know if you've done it. You walk in and this is one of my pet peeves. It's you go, okay, I'm gonna do that dungeon. You talk to a guy. You've got to select the dungeon. You go into it. You start, and then you've got to walk 100 meters to a little star thing that you click to activate it. Then it has the countdown timer. Then they spawn in. Then you kill 2 enemies in about 3 seconds of manual play. And then if you want to start again, you got to go back to the start. You got to run up to the star. You got to click the star. So I feel like that
tedious,
process is going to be so tedious for burning stamina. And I really hope there's some form of auto in the future to make the mindless dead grind feel better. And that's the other thing on top of that with echoes in Star Rail. And I don't really know the Genshin experience, but in Star Rail, it's like, Simulated Universe is annoying to get relics because you have to manually do that shit. Whereas in this, everything is that.
Yeah.
Everything is manual. Yeah. So that's my biggest issue with the game at the moment is that now.
It's a boomer complaint to be fair.
Not right now because everything's fun and exciting and new. But like, dude, when you've done that every day for a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, let me know what Genshin's like in that aspect. I'm curious.
Well, no, yeah, Genshin, it's the 10-minute experience. It's not too different from Honkai Star Rail. You log on, you do your dailies, you spam the domain over and over, and then you get off. Yeah. The thing is, though, the combat in Genshin, say what you will about it, the combat formula is fucking fantastic. So it's so fun that you don't trip because you're doing the domain over and over, but you're also getting to constantly practice in a simultaneous manner the rotations of your kit while you're doing that. So that's the thing. Repetitive grind is definitely annoying, but it's an action game where you're constant work in progress at the craft of the teams you're using. So that's a part of the enjoyment process.
The problem for me is with things like the experience and stuff. You got two enemies that you kill so quick you don't actually get to practice rotations. Like the boss fights and stuff.
Good point.
And stuff. Like I enjoy fighting the boss echoes. Because I'm practicing rotations and I got a chance to get the echo at the end. But like in like the farming stages, it's just like you don't get to learn anything because it's like literally I just come in, I pressed my echo skill, I swap character, press echo skill, and then I go echo skill again. Shit's dead.
Say less. You just dismantled that entire argument with that fucking concept. You're absolutely right, which actually leans more towards an auto experience. I think most gamers are just scared of auto experiences, typically because it gets away from the very core point of gaming, like playing the game. Yeah. I can relate to that because when I'm playing a game in auto, I always think, what the hell am I autoing for? But then when you make that point, you're like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like Reverse 1999, that's a prime example.
Yeah, even to the extent where if they just remove the fluff of it, and then I can, like for instance, in these farming stages, say I want to dump 240 stamina into this farming stage, and instead of it going and doing like 40 or however, like doing one run of killing two enemies, then going back to the start, running, clicking the thing, killing two, running, click, spawn 12 enemies, let me kill them all in one little hit, and then I'm done.
Yes.
Like there's got to be some sort of systems to stop and it's not the actual killing shit, it's the little bits in between that you have to keep going back to instead of just doing it.
So then you do what Reverse 1999 does. You increase the amount of times you can collect the reward in one go, and then you just consume it all and be done with it.
Yeah, something like that. One of those systems I feel like would just be really good. But honestly, besides that, I don't really have too many other concerns. Now, I will say that
I got one.
Some of the
missed opportunity
traversing felt a little bit like I said to, I don't know if I said it to you, but like the first time I jumped into the game and I hit the jump button, I was like, what? Like, cause like you jump and the camera goes like that. And it didn't feel as smooth as other games. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's just a me thing.
I didn't.
The other thing is,
I didn't get it.
That triggered me. Sometimes you swap characters mid-fight. Your character comes out on the enemy's head, but they're like trying to fall off their head, and you can't use any abilities until you fall off their head. It happens to me all the time, and it's like the only way you can get down is by doing like a lunge attack to get down, and it kills me with the chick that we're using because when you swap into her, she can do her double E attack straight away, but if you swap and you land on their head, you've got a lunge attack first, and then you can't do that. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But that's just like little buggy stuff that I think will get ironed out over time.
I agree. I think it's beta stuff that they'll polish up and refine. But I didn't even consider that. There was plenty of times. It was a point you brought up that I just forgot, where I did that. And I was like, God damn it, bro, I can't spam her. Why is her E not going off? Oh, it's because I'm fucking in midair.
Yes.
But the one thing that I feel was a massive missed opportunity that they should add in to not only incentivize Wells, but incentivize people to pull on 5 stars. Everyone should have, and this is a big investment because they didn't do it, everyone should have a F finisher against bosses, not just the main protagonist.
Yeah.
Dude, do you know how sick that would be to pull a 5-star? Because you know they have their own
just
unique
fatalities on every character.
Oh my God. God,
Finish
what a
him.
missed opportunity. Like they need to consider that, man. And again, it's something not Genshin's doing, not Honkai. Like, oh, fuck it, be huge. That was the only thing, though.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Let's talk quickly about summons.
Okay, yeah.
What's your thought on summons? 0.8%. It's an increase to what we're used to.
I didn't know that. See, I was too lazy to go back and look at the actual percentages. All I said was, they did the petty thing where they just put 10 wishes under what their competition's doing.
And if they don't have a soft pity,
if
they don't have a soft pity, it's really not that much better. So we got to find out if they got a soft pity. But they do have 0.8 instead of. I'm pretty sure Star Rail is 0.6, isn't it?
I'm not sure, Volk. That's what I'm saying. I was too lazy to go and look at the percentages. Guys, you comment down below and we can, heart your comment if you let us know. But if I know the 10 wish, that's a strong point. If they don't have soft pity, it's pretty much the same shit.
Yeah. Because normally you're getting it between 75 and 80. Like to go past 80 is horrible. So
you just got
they need to have that 15 below soft pity. The other thing that they changed is exclusive weapon banner is 100%.
Guaranteed.
That is,
that's
I don't know how that
bro.
has not been changed in like Star Rail.
Scumbags.
Like, it's because using that same currency to summon on that shit stuff is so bad.
I was gonna say though, scumbags. It's not that they're scumbags. You can't call a company scumbags when you have the morons constantly buying this shit. Like, it's not at that point. They're like, well, they have no problem with it. You know what I mean?
They like free summons.
I guess yeah. No, but I think the pity system, just off the guaranteed weapon, that was like the biggest big dick swing, like power move from a business standpoint.
Yeah,
because guaranteed weapon, signature weapon, that's going to make them so much back, I think, alone.
Yeah, and then
so long as they design it,
and then they've also got like this standard weapon banner separated. Now, I didn't look into it too closely. I should have looked into this. I'm not sure if on the standard character banner whether you can still get 5-star weapons, because they've also got a weapon banner. Actually, that's something I'm going to look into. I'm not going to speak on that because I'm not too sure. But if you can only get characters, 5-star characters from the character banner, and only 5-star weapons for the weapon banner, I think that's a good split.
Also, the other thing, you got signature characters you can get from the shop. That was insane when I saw that.
Those are dupes. Yeah.
They're dupes. So you can only get the Eidolon.
I'm pretty sure they're the dupes. I don't quote me on that. I had a quick glance at it. They do still have the system where you can get like 6 exclusive character summons, 6 exclusive banner summons and stuff like that. That's the other thing that I hope they do in it, because the thing with Star Rail and stuff that shits me is using the same summons. Like, why would I use summons on a light cone when I could use those summons on a character, and the enjoyment I get out of a character is way better than having like a 10 to 15% damage increase on my character because I got their light cone. Now, in this game, they've separated, and you have exclusive character summon currency and you have exclusive banner summon currency. They're different. Yeah. I'm hoping that means they give us a bunch of free exclusive summon currency. However, I have not seen one of them yet. So maybe that's a copium take, but I'm hoping that they fill you up with more of those exclusive summon currency so that you can get the odd weapon, because let's face it, it feels bad summoning for a weapon over a character. When a character, you get a whole new experience, but a weapon, you get a damage increase on that character.
I mean, and I agree, one, and not only that, dude, like they already, like, people don't realize these gacha companies are so stingy with how they do their games to get you to spend money. It's not a big deal to do that, bro. It's not. No. They drop so many characters, so many weapons. The game progresses for years upon end. Dude, giving away a signature light cone every 7 months or so, it's really not that big of a deal. Or not light cone, but weapon. I just don't think it's that big of a deal, but people will make the extreme argument of, well, then why would I spend on anything? Bro, people are still going to spend on stuff. This is really just more to appease the low spenders. Go ahead.
And it comes back to a lot of things. It's like, but it works for Genshin, so...
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Honestly, Genshin was
enabling.
I still say Genshin was one of the biggest curses on gacha games because it succeeded so well, and then people copy... And all of the systems, including the bad things about it. And it's like, the seller for Genshin was the open world. It was the first thing to do that. The seller was not the monetization and the resources. And I mean, hey, it makes shitloads of money.
It's a competitive field like any business. And it's a competitive field like any other business. So it's like them doing the 10 wishes less, but we're still going to keep this dog shit formula. That's a business move, you know? It's just like you're competing with the competitor, and the best price is the price that's a little bit better.
Literally, it's like, no, the system isn't crazy good. good, but you know, hey, we've improved it on what you're used to. So come see us, boys. Like, you know, that's what it felt like when I looked at the summon system. That's what it felt like. It's like, hey, did you see that?
That's the adult's perspective.
But to be fair, if it goes from 0.6 to 0.8, that's a good percentage increase on the drop rate. But it's like
it's per wish.
Yeah, because it's like we're a little bit better there. Our pity's 10 lower. Remember how excited you guys got about 10 summons instead of 3? Hey, we do this every rotation. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you got a permanent 10 less with a little bit more experience.
The one thing I'll say though, holy shit, they need to give us more early rewards because re-rolling is going to be an absolute nightmare. Like Star Rail, you could do a 1 hour re-roll and get to pity on the beginner banner. This game, you're doing 10 hours to get to pity on the. So hopefully they have more pre-reg rewards and stuff like that to get us there. Because the early summon income was pretty stale.
Yeah, no, you pay attention to that stuff because I normally don't do it. I just, whatever they give me, I fucking go with it. But I'm probably going to pre-roll if they don't give me that game.
If they give you that healer, man, if they give you that healer, dude, you're
I'll re-roll. I'm re-rolling 110%.
She'll turn out to be like the best meta pick. I don't care, man. That ain't fun. Not me. I'm sorry. I'm out.
That fire girl is broken. She's not my type at all, but she really is nice. The taunt switching over to another character is cool. So, but I want that. I want my monk. I want my monk, bro. You got to give her to me. Yin Yang, the whole thing is so cool.
Dude.
But dude, seriously, rate the freaking game on a scale from 1 to 10. Once they fix the things you want them to fix, if they fix it, or before they fix it. Me, it's an 8 before, and if they fix the things I want them to fix, it's a 9 out of 10 for me.
I hate doing these rating things. I would say, and because it's so hard because we're into day 4, so you're in honeymoon.
Recency bias. Recency bias.
And like so. Okay, let's put it this way. The new player experience of the game coming from someone who plays every new gacha game.
Yeah, you do. You really do. You got a good opinion.
Based purely on the fact that the ecosystem is so fun. Like, I'd give it like a 9 for the early game experience for first 4 days. Okay, that's first 4 days. Yeah. Going longer term, I feel like it's going to settle down to about a 7 because at the end of the day, it's going to become... I don't think they can do anything groundbreaking unless they make, for me personally, those systems of hunting shinies where you can actively increase your rates because that is a cool casual feature that I will get around.
Yeah.
But like that's the one thing I can see them doing to have that because I still think at the end game we're going to trivialize content if you have a bit of skill. So I still think it will get to standard gacha game aspects, but I tell you what, the early game experience, like I've had so much fun. The co-op as well, dude. Like,
I haven't even seen you have that experience. I didn't
that's
get
a
that.
whole nother level of playing with your friends. And because the co-op ties into the funnest part of the game, which is the echo farming, it's just like, I feel like they've done a really good job of implementing the echoes and the co-op. So early game experience, I'm going to say a 9. I think it's going to settle down to about a 7 or an 8. And then at that point, once we're 3 months into the game, it's really going to depend on the community on it's one of those things. It's one of those things with all these games. If creators are playing Wuthering Waves and making content and it's doing a quarter to half as good as their Star Rail or Genshin content, they're going to drop it because they don't.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. You need the views. Yeah. And so
I'm going to drop it. Dead ass.
So it's one of those snowballing things where, okay, you need the game to be good to keep the players in, to keep the content creators in, to keep people watching, to keep the whole cycle going. And I'm really curious to see where this game ends up after like...
A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah. It's just like... Because like, you look at Genshin and Star Rail, I think a lot of content creators wouldn't be making content if it didn't get the viewership that it did. There's not many other options out there. Like I have multiple channels, so I don't give a fuck. I'll play whatever I want and not care about views. And that's the beauty of that. But I definitely think that's going to be a thing. So I just because I have PTSD from Tower of Fantasy on that game was like a massive break for me for about a month. And then it just died. So I don't think it's going to do that. I think there's enough polish in this game. They do have a little few things to iron out. But I think it's going to be... I definitely think this will have long-term success. Whether
I think it does.
I don't think it's to the scale of Genshin and stuff like that, but I still think it does have very decent
I think there's
success.
potential.
Yeah.
I think there's potential. The potential's definitely there, but you can't. You can only draw a hypothesis and see what the hell happens. They definitely have some shit though.
Unless they recreate COVID, like that was such a huge catalyst for Genshin.
Yeah.
But I definitely see it being a long-term game with a stable player base and audience. Like you already see all like the fan pages for characters on Twitter and shit like that. Like it's all starting. You can already see it. But dude, I'm excited for launch. I'm excited for launch. It's gonna be fun.
Same. Yeah, no, absolutely, man. But Volk, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, brother. This was a great, fantastic conversation. I think we could do podcasts just between me and you all the time. Like we could talk for fucking days.
Yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we do more of these. Like we can like aim for like a one per week of with a guest, and then we can just chop these in between when there's interesting topics to talk about.
It's easy, it's just an hour of time, and me and you always have so much to talk about. Like, if I wasn't busy, we could talk for another 45 solid.
Easy. That's sick, dude. Anything else you want to say before we dip?
No, not really. Yeah, I'm good.
Sick. Thanks, guys.